What's up? I want to do a throwback review. Before we get into this, just kind of tell you why I'm doing this. There have been many albums, throughout the years that I love listening to, or they're ones I have opinions on. I don't want to just do current albums. Like, there are albums that have already come out this year, months and months ago, that I want to do reviews of. Um, but there's also albums that I was either really young and didn't know the scene at the time, or, uh, that, this channel hasn't existed that long. I think it's a little under a year old. Um, and I like doing reviews. I like sharing my opinion on things. Um, this is a review of Whitechapel's second album. This is Exile. Whitechapel is probably my favorite deathcore band if I had to choose one. I mean, there's a lot of great bands. I like early Suicide Silence. Usually I just listen to the Cleansing. Obviously, like, you can put Job for a Cowboy in there with the Doom EP. Um, I have seen Whitechapel live. Actually, what's funny is this hoodie I got from the second time I've seen Cannibal Corpse, but the first time I saw Cannibal Corpse, Whitechapel were opening when they were touring for their album Kin. Uh, this shirt I got from their website, which is of the somatic defilement, um, which is probably my favorite, but in my opinion, this is their best album. Um, there are times I think The Valley is also their best, since This is Exile. Other times, not so much, so I'm very indifferent about The Valley. It really depends on my mood. Um, I kind of think it's an overhyped album. There are good songs on it, but I feel like it gets way too much praise. I do respect it though. I think that they made the right choice by not pussying out of doing a new sound from what they originally were. Um, but with This is Exile, this has some of the best production. Um, Mind you, even the Somatic Defilement remastered, I think, is actually worse than the original mix. I actually had to go searching for a bit just to compare the two. I don't know if this is a remaster. I don't think it is. Um, but I mean, just the breakdown on the title track is one of the reasons I love Whitechapel, or at least the early Whitechapel um albums. It's very chaotic, but it's also very creative in how they do the breakdowns. This is probably an album that it definitely grew on me, especially for CD. This I own this and Kin on CD, and that's all I have of Whitechapel right now. Um, but there's catchy riffs. The vocals, I think, are some of the best that Phil has done. Um, I know a lot of people are probably gonna rag on me because I talked about metal being watered down. Now I'm talking about deathcore, but surprise, surprise, motherfuckers! Deathcore is metal. It literally has death metal elements. Also, there are breakdowns in Cannibal Corpse songs. You just don't hear it as break down the way that you're thinking. Um, but regardless, this is. I mean, this has some of my favorite songs like Father of Lies, This Is Exile, Possession, um, Death Becomes Him, Damon the Procreated, Of Legions, Messiahbolical. Um, great album. The art, I think, fits how how I feel, at least. Um, by the time I'm done listening to this, um, I think that the CD is just kind of what the music is. Um, Another great thing about this is the drum patterns. Oh my god, I love them. I love when bands don't just do blast beat blast beat fill. I like a little bit of variation. Um, when it comes to this, um, especially when it comes to bands in death metal and deathcore. Um, I don't want to just hear. I don't want to hear fucking blast beats throughout the entirety of an album all the time. Sure, I prefer death metal. Um, that's just a given for me. But that said, I think This Is Exile is definitely their best work. It is probably my second favorite Whitechapel album. Um, I mean, I tend to go between this and the Somatic Defilement depending on the day. Um, I also tend to like how clean this album sounds versus the Somatic Defilement. Don't get me wrong, the Somatic, like I said, the Somatic Defilement doesn't bug me with its production, but this definitely has upped its game. And I think it's better than the self-titled, which don't Culturalist and I Dementia are some of my favorite Whitechapel songs, but this has some of the most memorable songs in my opinion. If I had to give it a rating, I'd probably give it a 8.5 out of 10 graves, just simply due to the fact that it's it is a bit lengthy for me. I feel like Messiahbolical is a lot longer than it needs to be. But other than that, that's my thoughts. I think if you say you don't like deathcore, I feel like you should definitely listen to this album with a more open mind. Um, Give it a chance, give it a shot. Uh, Thank you all for watching. Thank you for subscribing. And shine on, stars.